Epstein did not kill himself, apparently. There also was no one else involved in his elaborate sex ring besides Ghislaine. Oh, and there's no list. And that's it.
Wait a minute.
He harmed thousands of victims with just the help of one other woman. Not a single other soul was involved. And I guess we were also supposed to believe that he had no clients. Oh, and his island was just for him and him alone. His nearly 30,000 square foot Zorro ranch in New Mexico, him and him alone. No other legal activity happening with anyone else, right? Because according to a new memo from the DOJ, there is not a list and his death was a suicide. End of story. And move right along.
Nothing to see here.
Now, I want to be happy about this announcement. I really do. I do not want to believe that there are rich and powerful people involved in Epstein's vile activity. And I don't want to believe the theories of pedophile rings and grave evil happening secretly all around us. I sincerely want to unequivocally believe the memo. Frankly, it would help me sleep a little better at night knowing that it ended with him dead in a Manhattan jail cell in 2019. And while the DOJ wants to just move right along from their formal pronouncement this weekend, which I'm going to get into, people were not buying it so easily. And the comments, man, there were many, and no one seems to be happy. I was assured by the Binder Brigade that people would be in cuffs. Like at least one. No, not a single other person. Like at least someone else. I think that's throwing me off. Like you couldn't. Okay. Someone else said, well, finally that's settled. Yeah, great. We can just move right. I honestly wish. He was in jail for trafficking girls to no one. Makes sense. I mean, that, again, that's what people say about Ghislaine. That's what they say about him. Where are the clients? If there is a ring of people, where are the other people? Don't have to be a legal criminal expert to just ask that question. Seems pretty obvious. Another person asked, does a single person in the world believe this? I mean, should we? We obviously don't trust the deep state right now that still exists within the FBI. And yes, we thankfully have people like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel at the helm, but all the rot does not just disappear overnight. Now, I was not expecting every detail from the government of all groups to hand over all the pertinent information. It doesn't work like that, I know. But I also wasn't expecting what we were just given. For years, we were led to believe that there was more to this story. If it wasn't from the plethora of suspicious evidence and thorough investigations, always finding new questions and no answers, more recently, it was leaders demanding transparency and using the infamous and elusive Epstein list as a signifier to all that when it was finally released, then we can all have confidence again in establishments that we have grown weary of. I mean, remember the Epstein list binders from just a few months ago? Attorney General Pam Bondi literally made a whole spectacle out of the list. So much so that her staff made binders with a whole lot of nothing and then handed them out to respectable independent voices in the conservative space. The binders were literally called the first phase, not only implying that there was more to come, but Bondi's office encouraged all those independent voices to tease the upcoming new phases. And although there was nothing new in that first phase, she promised that the real cover-up, the real truth, was coming next. And at the same time that all that was going down back in February, Bondi went on live television multiple times teasing the public that it was in fact coming. So we're not crazy. Like the gaslighting that I feel. Like, did I forget what just happened over the past several years / several months?
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
No.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
That should have been a sign. Honestly, when I first watched that clip, I really thought to myself, maybe nothing will come from this. And that moment was the first time I thought, she says not yet. It was like, yeah. Nah, that should have been it. I should have just got my hopes just crushed there.
She did say for review.
She said it was on her. She was on her desk, whatever it was. And just because she saw it doesn't mean that the world would get to see it.
It's not really how you build criminal investigations against people to take them down. You don't tell the world who they are first.
Which again was why I was like, okay, you got to give them time. Obviously, there's a lot to go through too with things that would not want to be published. Obviously, this is a lot of sick, horrible, illegal activity, so it's not going to just be shared with the world. I get that. But also, then don't tease us and hold it out like a string, like, it's coming. That's what's so infuriating here. Is like, you give the conspiracy theorists, and I say that loosely because that term is just not always, it's used to decredit people, I feel like sometimes, but they give them this. only to just take it all away and be like, well, don't be mad.
Yeah, it seemed like it was given, like Trump gave the directive and she felt she had to say something.
Right.
I'm reviewing it. It's coming.
Again, the binders. If the binders didn't happen, this would even be less of a story. Like, the binders only to give us this. Okay, so this was oddly released via an Axios exclusive. At least that's where I first saw it, on some unsigned memo sent out Sunday night of a holiday weekend. Like, we all just weren't going to see it. We weren't going to ask questions Monday morning when it rolls up. And then it's like, the systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. Well, that's huge news. I mean, huge news. Again, on some weird memo. It doesn't even have a signature or anything. A lot of people at first thought it was not true. So when it first got leaked, they're like, just wait. They're going to come out. They're going to say it's not true. Nope. They confirmed it. I'll read a little bit more. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that would predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. What about the truckloads? Bondi talked about truckloads of evidence. Nothing in there incriminates anyone else? Really? Okay, great. I mean, great. If that's true, great. But it's hard to believe. Consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. Just him? He was the only one? The more I read this, the more it doesn't help their case that no one besides Ghislaine was instrumental in procuring over 1,000 victims over the course of decades. No one else knew. No one else was involved. Really? I'll keep saying really, and I hope it's true. And then they go on. Each one suffered unique trauma. Sensitive information relating to these victims is intertwined throughout the materials. Of course it is. We know that. This includes specific details such as victims' names, likeness, physical descriptions, places of birth, associates, and employment history. One of our highest priorities is combating child exploitation and bringing justice to victims. Perpetrating unfounded theories about Epstein's serves neither of those ends. True. So why the binders? Why tease us that there was more if there's literally nothing else? And his ranches and his again, it's hard. For those of us who have been reading and studying this case for years, it's hard to just read that and go, oh, nothing else. To that end, while we have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein and ensured examination of any evidence in the government's possession, it is the determination of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation that no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. And then on the second page, they also referred to his suicide. After a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10th, 2019. Whether or not he killed himself is way less concern. I mean, we know that he's dead. We do know that there was negligence in the jail that night. That is also undisputed and has been proven time and time again. So we get that it was a weird night regardless. But then to try to make us feel better about all of that, in this memo, they included a link to over 10 hours of video footage from the jail cell the night that Epstein died. And I thought, okay, they know that there are people out there who will watch this entire footage, who will really try to analyze it. There have been people for years analyzing footage like this, photos from his autopsy, I mean, everything. They've just been investigating this on their own for years. So they give us this footage. But the footage, literally, in the middle of the night, misses 1 minute, which kind of makes the whole footage not as reliable because you're missing a minute. So something could have happened. Again, they're just giving fuel to the conspiracy theories. And it's like, why did you even provide this? Literally, why? It's honestly like a joke. I actually laughed out loud watching this. Like, did they think no one would see the missed minute? And the missed minute would just, right there, just skips a minute. In the middle of all this footage, just whoops. One minute's gone. Apparently the camera died and was replaced or it went between batteries or something. Again, why give the footage? That doesn't help. I don't think anyone saw that and was like, now I feel better about, come on.
This is one of those things that, yes, like closed circuit TVs do have to cycle.
Right.
And the fact that they set it to cycle at midnight, if they start providing other nights of footage and you see they're all missing the recycle minute.
Right. It's fine if that's how that is.
Yeah.
And also,
but it's just fuel.
There's no need to give us that because then we go, there's a minute. And then you're immediately going to think something happened in the minute. Come on.
It's fuel for the nut jobs.
And also the footage looks so crusty and old. It kind of reminds me of Epstein's original mugshot where he clearly did not shave in a minute. If you don't want to look disheveled like Epstein did in his mugshot, you should try Jeremy's Razors. Because with Jeremy's Razors, flash deals are here. This week and this week only, you can get limited time discounts on woke-free essentials for men and women. We're talking razors, body wash, deodorant, a lot of things that Epstein clearly did not have, and more from the company that isn't afraid to say that there are only 2 genders and makes great products for both of them. Plus, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can try it, and if you don't like it, you can just send it back for a full refund, but trust me, you will like it. I love Jeremy's Razors. That is my razor I use every single day. So if you guys want to give it a try, you can head to jeremy'srazors.com. That is jeremy'srazors.com today. Get that clean shave so that you don't look like the creepy, disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Liz Wheeler, who was one of the journalists who got that Epstein binder back in February, she is furious, rightfully so, and did a fantastic episode on this yesterday, which I'd recommend going and checking out because I listened to that and just listened to her anger, which, again, justified. And again, I keep coming back to the same questions. If there was nothing there to tease, why did Bondi's office make the binders in the first place? Have the photo op, all for nothing to come from it. We are hungry for justice and truth and transparency. This is a huge issue for many Americans for a reason, especially knowing that it involves minors. Hundreds of them, if not thousands. Heck, at the very least, why isn't there just a new binder with every detail they can share? Or better yet, what I would love to see, a press conference with every journalist who has ever been studying or dissecting the Epstein theories and case for years to finally give them a chance to get their pressing questions answered. Talk about transparency. That would be awesome. Now, after this has been coming out for the last couple of days, a journalist recently just asked Bondi a question about the Epstein files. Now, this was asked at an event that had nothing to do with Epstein, and so they were annoyed that the question was being asked. However, that's why, like I said, there should be a press conference specifically about Epstein. But this was their response between Trump and Bondi, and it just watch.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the step?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second?
No, stop.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Yes, Trump, we are. You know, I get that there is tragedy in Texas and there's a lot of other things going on in the world. I understand that. And also, we deserve to know answers about this. Or they deserve to ask more questions than just getting a simple memo. So I get that he's like, here now, but also then give us another place for it. Like allow that to really be a conversation somewhere.
It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because
That's the one I showed you guys.
I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released.
What about the truckloads of evidence? We're not asking for that kind of footage to be released. We're asking for names if anyone else was involved.
To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that.
We can circle back.
And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively. The video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide.
The more I listen to that, I'm like, what does that even mean? What are you saying?
And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset. And every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
The whole point of that footage, which I really have to just keep talking about this. The point of that footage is that they're trying to say that no one went in and out of Jeffrey's cell at that whole night. But then again, to have a minute missing, you can't then confidently say that fully. So you need the other minute. It's just little things like that. Again, it's just, I hate showing moments where the administration just is really off base here, but I also think if I'm going to compliment them and be really happy and proud when they do good things, I also have to address when they do something that I really just don't agree with. This is one of the biggest stories of the last decade. So yes, we are still talking about it because we want answers. We want something. Is it being used for blackmail and leverage? Did they get in over their heads with their original promises to deliver on this? Or is the truth really much less fantastical than what we have been led to believe over the years? And if that's the case, at least try to convince us of that. This arguably is one of the first cases that the public has had nearly a decade to stew on, to research, to get as many details as they could possibly get their hands on and learn. Pre-internet, this simply wouldn't be feasible. But now it is. So now we want more answers. There have been too many questions dug up over the last several years that were not simply answered in a 1.5-page memo from the DOJ. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. For other content, you can also follow me on Instagram and X, as well as our brand new comment section Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next episode.